We're just distraught by the whole situation. We don't understand how this could have happened. We want to get to the bottom of it as well. And if we have to go through a lawsuit to do it, well, then it's on.
The Canton McKinley School District and board haven't responded for comment on this allegation, but we have learned that 8 coaches have been placed on administrative leave. They tell us once this internal investigation is complete, they will provide more information. But Jay, obviously you heard from the lawyer there, and by the sound of it today, I don't think that the father will be waiting very long for that internal investigation to be complete.
All right, Will Ewick live tonight on What's New. Will, thank you very much. Betsy?
Now on your feed at 5, Moderna is filing for full FDA approval for its COVID vaccine. It was granted emergency use authorization in December for adults 18 and older. However, 6 months of data is required for a biologics license, which is needed for full approval. The CDC reported that more than 124 million doses of the vaccine have been administered in the U.S. The Massachusetts company plans to submit their findings in the coming weeks. Pfizer-BioNTech announced last month they are also asking for full approval. Now, of course, this comes on the heels of Ohio preparing to lift its COVID health orders. That happens at midnight tonight, and things are expected to go back to how they were before the pandemic started. We're going to roll back the clock, so to speak. Now, the mask mandate will be gone, and so will capacity limits. So here we go.
Yeah, it's a new day. Our senior health correspondent, Monica Robbins, joins us now with what that means for all of us. Monica, a very good Tuesday to you.
Hi.
Wonderful to have you in the studio. I know we're all giddy over that.
It is like the first day of school.
But tomorrow really is going to feel like good old times again for so many statewide.
Not necessarily.
Oh, okay. Tell me more.
Sort of, kind of.
Okay.
But, you know, we got to ease into this very slowly because, you know, we've waited 14 months for things to go back to, well, I'd like to say normal, but let's just say it's going to be a new normal. Because while many of us may breathe a sigh of relief, some things may not change in some cases. So you need to keep the mask handy just in case, because while the mask mandates will be gone, health departments are hoping that people who are not vaccinated will continue to wear them when indoors and in close proximity to others. The catch? It's really going to have to be on an honor system because no one's going to be asking for vaccination proof in most cases. And at the very least, expect to keep your distance from strangers if you choose not to wear a mask, whether you're vaccinated or not. And remember, businesses have the right to decide their own protocols.
Businesses, hospitals, entities can still create their own set of standards for who they allow into the building when it comes to employees and customers. So you may still continue to see signs that recommend that those who are not vaccinated continue to wear masks when they're in that facility.
So the hope is that while we ease back into this new normal, expect to see people in masks still because some may not be able to get vaccinated for health reasons, or maybe they have other underlying conditions. And if you go into a restaurant that seems empty despite capacity rules lifting and you're told there's a 20-minute wait, well, it's likely because of a staffing shortage. Another fallout of the pandemic we have to keep in mind.
There are so many small things that we didn't think about 6 months ago or 12 months ago that are now kind of rolling out. Inflation and all kinds of shortages, staffing shortages. It's been a learning experience.
You know, I was really hoping I got taller in 435 days. But
hasn't happened.
You know, my seat is all the way up
here.
Hey,
Monica, after what we've been through, in our eyes, you're 10 foot tall.
Absolutely.
Jay, you're the tallest person in the room.
Thank you.
You're very
means
welcome.
So much.
You've kept us all informed. You've done it in a calm, steady manner, and you've been a very solid voice of reason throughout this. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we'll try and keep that up.
I hope you will.
She still has the bad A sign on her desk that we put there for her. So.
Well, she is.
I was reminded, so there.
All right. Well, we talked about how travel was expected to spike over the Memorial Day weekend. Now we have the numbers to back that up. Within the last 5 days, more than 7 million people passed through security checkpoints at airports nationwide. That is a record since the start of the pandemic. TSA agents screened 6 times the number of passengers this Memorial Day weekend than they did last year. And people who drove, well, you paid heavily at the pump. The average cost of gasoline topped $3 a gallon over the weekend. That's the highest Memorial Day price we've seen in 7 years. Betsy, we don't yet have the official numbers as to how many people traveled by car, but AAA estimated, and they're usually pretty good at this, they estimated before the weekend that there was going to be a 60% jump for the holiday, estimating some 37 million people will get in their cars and travel at least 50 miles or more. We also got the gas prices from AAA just a couple of hours ago. They told us the average price for a gallon of gas, and we all know because we've paid it, $2.94 a gallon.
Yeah.
That's where we are. That's where we are right now.
It's a little rough, and I think, as things go on, people are just going to start to make their plans ahead of time.
That's smart.
You kind of have to think about traveling the way you thought about it, 10 years ago, which was, okay, gas is going to be a major factor for our expense for our trip, so we've got to kind of plan accordingly.
Yeah, I was surprised, because I did some traveling this weekend. I was surprised how many people were on the roads. Very heavy traffic.
There were a lot of people out and about. That's
good to see. It was. Well, here's a cool story. Rocky Colavito was a Cleveland Indians icon. He was the most popular player on the team when they traded him to Detroit ahead of the 1960 season. I can still hear my late father complaining about that trade. Soon, Rocky will be honored with a statue in the city's Little Italy neighborhood, and a lot of folks are very excited about that. 3 News sports reporter Nick Camino joins us now. Nick, good afternoon. Great to see you. This is a terrific tribute for a one-time fan favorite, and I understand construction actually started today.
It did, Jay, but I got to tell you, first of all, I know what you guys did here. Bring on the Italian sports guy to talk about Rocky Colavito getting the statue down in Little Italy, right? This is very fitting. Now, this is great news. Recently my wife Marissa and I, we were down in Little Italy, we had dinner, and the entire neighborhood is excited about it. And as you said, crews broke ground on this project this morning. This is something that has taken a lot of different planning. There's been a lot of backing behind it, but they broke ground on it this morning. It will be at Tony Brush Park right there along Mayfield Road in Little Italy. The construction expected to last a couple of weeks. According to Rocky Colavito and his statue committee, it will be unveiled on The Rock's 88th birthday, which is August 10th. He's expected to be there. The Rock was the best. I mean, we're talking about a 6-time All-Star, loved by Tribe fans, obviously loved by Italians, one of the worst trades maybe in franchise history. Colavito for Harvey Keene, also still referred to as the curse of Rocky Colavito. And if you think about it, Jay, that's going to be an exciting couple of days down in Little Italy, because after that, you're going to have the Feast of the Assumption, which will be back too. A lot of food will be eaten that week.
Yeah, what a great way, too, to celebrate the return of the feast by bringing back the return of The Rock. I'm telling you, my dad, as a grown man, almost came to tears when he was talking about why would they trade the most popular player at the height of his career. It was just the Cleveland thing to do back then.
Jay, I talked to my dad on the way into the studio today. I said, Colavito, what do you got? He goes, worst trade in Tribe history. I said, there you go.
And he's right. Yeah, he's right. And that's saying something, because although we haven't made a bad one in a long time, we made a bunch of them in the 70s and 80s, but none of them worse than the Rocky Colavito trade. Nick, thanks. We'll see you soon.
You got it.
Well, late this afternoon, a pro-business group filed a federal lawsuit against Major League Baseball. It stems from the MLB moving its All-Star game from Atlanta to protest the state's restrictive voting laws. A Texas organization called Job Creators Network filed the lawsuit, saying it was victimized by the game's removal. They said, quote, it had to divert resources to address the grave harm to its Atlanta area members, end quote. The civil suit is asking for $100 million in damages and a punitive award of up to $1 billion.
Wow.
Fallout continues from that.
Next on What's New, we have another shortage to tell you about. This one, drivers. But not just truck drivers. It's the ride-sharing apps that can't find enough help. January Keaton is along next to tell us what that means for all these Uber and Lyft users.
Plus, a teaser trailer. We'll show you the first look at Nickelodeon's release of The Patrick Star Show. That's coming up in Pop Break.
And Matt Wintz, man, today was a great day in so many ways.
Yeah, so many ways, Jay. Not looking too great now with the clouds moving in, but I'll tell you what, it feels great outside. Temperatures in the 70s right now. Those clouds are out ahead of some rain that's going to be moving in here tomorrow. We'll put a timeline on that. Meanwhile, your outdoor dining forecast, you're A-OK to head outdoors tonight. Reason why, we've got temperatures that'll be in the 70s, dropping into the 60s, and we will stay dry. However, that does change. We'll take you over the next couple days and through a hot-looking weekend when we come back. Jay?
All right, we'll see you in a few minutes. This week, our focus on Save Our Sauce, the best patios in Northeast Ohio. And today, Nuevo Modern Mexican is the one that's in our spotlight. It has one of the best patios in Cleveland. You'll get amazing views of the harbor and the lake while you munch on empanadas, tamales, and you can sip on those fantastic cocktails. Visit WKYC.com/saveoursauce for more on Nuevo Modern Mexican and some of the other top patios in Northeast Ohio from Doug Tratner. We will be right back.
It's Tech Tuesday, and food delivery apps got extremely popular during the pandemic. Matter of fact, they were a lifeline for a lot of restaurants and a lot of people at home who were tired of being at home. So even to the point, this food delivery, that it's creating a bit of controversy over how much those groups charged restaurants during the pandemic. They added those extra fees.
That got to be a big story. It really did. Now, customers are struggling to get the food they really want. It's all because there aren't enough drivers, if you can believe that. 3 News' January Keaton has that story.
So I think this return to work and this post-pandemic economy has been jarring, and certainly jarring for the Ubers and the Lyfts of the world.
Over the past year, fears of contracting COVID led many rideshare drivers to find other jobs and riders to find other means of transportation. According to the Washington Post, rideshare demand was down 75% in the U.S. as the pandemic set in.
You had a lot of folks that were, because of the pandemic, out of work.
But now the world's reopening, and there aren't enough rideshare drivers to chauffeur all the customers flooding rideshare apps, which is resulting in longer wait times and higher fares. Rideshare drivers also turned to food delivery as demand for delivered meals and groceries exploded and social distancing became the norm.
Uber and Lyft drivers that were making a living in a very flexible way, working when it worked for their schedules, working with their demand, all of a sudden saw no demand for their services. And many of these folks began to look for income in other ways.
Like Uber Eats. Uber released its first quarter earnings this month. It shows the company's food delivery service made up 60% of its profits during the pandemic. Compare that to 2019 when rides made up 80% of profits. Uber and Lyft now charging customers surge prices in place of regular prices and offering drivers record wages, which Case Western business professor Michael Goldberg says is a good way to lure drivers back.
They're starting to incentivize with bonus payments to drivers to get that pool of labor back in. So I do think that you'll see more Uber and Lyft drivers returning to work at these higher sort of surge pricing levels.
January.
Well, according to the Washington Post, more than 60% of rideshare demand is back the way it was pre-COVID.
Yeah.
And Uber now says they have seen a 25% increase in the number of new drivers just since February. So folks are starting to get back into the saddle, if you will. Now, the company also announced a $250 million incentive program to pay drivers more. That doesn't mean you're getting $250 million. It just means that they're going to start to really hand out those incentives, including a $1,000 re-signing bonus for drivers coming back.
It's funny because for so long, Uber had the hammer.
Absolutely.
And they were pinching drivers, and I talk to them whenever I'm in their cars, and I just thought for so long they were being taken advantage of because they weren't the commodity that they are now.
Yes.
Now the drivers collectively have the hammer, and I'm glad to see it because they deserve a bigger percentage of the share than Uber was giving them.
How long will it last?
I hope it lasts. For their sake, I hope it lasts forever.
Get that tipping point.
I
Certainly.
know. It's tricky.
Well, you know, it's kind of weird because we kind of had our little taste of summer and then we pulled it back to spring. And then it got,
Big time.
you know, Maytober-ish around here. And Matt, we're going to hit the gas again and kind of go full speed right into summer as we head through the week ahead.
Yeah, boy, are we, guys. It is going to heat up in a hurry around here. We've got a couple cool days first where we can enjoy it. But yeah, if you don't have your summer pool and all that stuff ready, hang on, it's coming.
I'm excited about today's weather word for two reasons. One, it's the perfect word for today's show, reunited. Yay! Couldn't be a better word choice. Thank you, Mo. Our producer came up with that. But I can't wait to see you kick in person.
Yeah,
I've missed that.
I'm excited, too.
I've missed that.
It's going to be awkward to kick in shoes again, I'll be honest. Those bare feet, I had to keep my toenails trimmed and everything. It was great because you just never know at home, right? So good to be back with you guys and back in the studio. It's so nice not to have a delay, too. Can we be honest about that? There's no delay. So let's get to the weather, shall we? Temperatures outside generally in the 70s right now. We've got some upper 60s as well. Those clouds have started to increase this evening. One of the other nice things, guys, I'm not stepping on Legos on the way over here. This is just fantastic. All right, so clouds starting to increase. That's out ahead of that system that was down to our south. We've been tracking this last couple days. Pretty good area showers, areas of Kentucky, Arkansas, back towards Texas. This is heading our way. We've got a pretty decent slug of rain as this low pressure heads right up the gut of the Ohio Valley. So it's been a while, but we are going to be reunited with rain around here. Yes! Oh, I pulled something. Need to stretch before the show. Take note. You see the clouds increasing tonight. No rain this evening, though. That's the good news. We are going to stay dry. Tomorrow morning, that's when things start to change. National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast. Temps back into the 60s tonight. Remember, those clouds act like a little blanket, so they'll keep our warmth in. Rain arrives tomorrow morning for that rush hour. It will be scattered around here. Not a big block of rain, but we'll likely be dealing with some light to moderate downpours. And watch this, as we go through time, nothing really changes. We've got on and off again rain tomorrow afternoon. We'll have downpours. It'll go dry for a while. Temperatures with the clouds and the rain will be stuck likely in the upper 60s to near 70 degrees. More rain tomorrow night as the low pressure comes through. We get a little kick of energy on Thursday, so that will keep scattered showers, even a couple of thunderstorms on Thursday into the forecast. But in terms of the rainfall, we could use it. 2 to 4 inches is what we need, and this thing's coming right up the gut. So we're talking perhaps an inch or more in spots. But it's also going to bring some humidity with us. Look at the muggy meter of next couple days. It's dry now. We get the humidity tonight, and it stays there all the way through the weekend. And boy, does that come with some heat. Look at the Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast. Rain tomorrow, isolated rain and rumbles on Thursday. And then we're talking heat, maybe a leftover storm on Friday. Otherwise, it is hot, dry, hazy, and sunny around here all the way through Sunday and Monday when temperatures are in the 90s. Guys, it's going to feel a little bit different around here versus last Friday, for example.
I love to watch Jay's reaction when we have a big number in the forecast. He's like a little boy at Christmas.
Sometimes I just put him in there.
I'm surprised you didn't hear him go, whoa. He was like all excited about
I was shocked.
Summer is coming. All right, thanks a lot, Matt. Next up for us, making it to 95 years old. That's a big achievement, but getting there in shape, that means something more for Dick Van Dyke. Coming up in Pop Break, we'll share some of his daily activities that keep him going.
You and I were just talking about Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yes.
Like an all-time classic. And a scary encounter for one dog owner on Memorial Day. Wait till you see this video. More importantly, wait until you see how the owners of these puppies responds. Freeze it! You got to see the whole video. It's coming up next in our Worth the Watch. She's a boss.
Hi, Al. I got my mic problem situated. We're going to be talking all things in Pop Break today. Perfect.
Welcome back, everybody. Hollywood star Dick Van Dyke is showing off his home gym. We're getting a sneak peek at the new Patrick Star Show, and a character on the Rugrats reboot is openly gay. Kiera Cotton has the scoop on all of it in today's Pop Break.
June marks the start of Pride Month, and one member of the LGBTQ+ community that's been making headlines lately is of the animated sorts. We're talking Betty DeVille from the Rugrats. In the reboot that launched on Paramount Plus last week, the mom of twins, Phil and Lil, is openly gay. And according to Natalie Morales, who plays Betty in the reboot, this shouldn't be a huge shock. In an interview with the AV Club, she said, anyone who watched the original show may have had an inkling Betty was a member of the Alphabet Mafia. In the reboot, Betty is a business owner who enjoys football and often jokes about her ex-girlfriends. And speaking of animated stars stepping into the spotlight, Patrick Star is getting his own show. For years, Patrick has been by SpongeBob's side, supporting him. But now it's his turn to shine like the star he is, literally.
I have found my true purpose. It's pronounced purpose.
Living at home with his family, Patrick will host his own TV show right from his bedroom. The Patrick Star Show is set to premiere next month. Dick Van Dyke may be 95 years old, but he's in better shape than most. In a recent interview, ahead of being honored by the Kennedy Center, the longtime actor showed off the activities that he does daily that allow him to keep singing and dancing after all these years.
Well, I can do a couple hundred of these, but I'm not going to take
should do it on film.
While he's no Jane Fonda, at least not yet, Van Dyke says he has a lot left in him.
Well, I'm looking forward to 100. George Burns made it, and I'm going to do it too.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but I am hoping that I'm half as agile as Dick when I'm that age.
Yeah, I'm very impressed. I saw a video clip of him dancing just a few years ago, and I thought it was fake. It was unbelievable how nimble he was.
I feel like I should just go drink a milkshake in shame because it's just so sad when he's, I mean, you're supposed to be like relaxed or whatever, and he's just going faster than ever. I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. And he will make 100. Garrett, thank you very much. Okay, you have to check out today's Worth the Watch video. Giant bear decides he's going to climb up on this fence. It's a concrete fence in Utah. Now, the owner here has 4 dogs. There's 2 little cubs that are with the mama bear. Now watch what happens to the mother of the dogs. Hey, she comes up, she shoves this full-size mama bear off of the fence and rescues her dog. She's like Wonder Woman, Bets.
I saw the video the first time 30 seconds ago. And when she came out and she just, whoosh, pushes that thing, I mean, she took a gigantic risk.
I just got a memo handed to me from our stage manager here. It says the Cleveland Browns are looking to sign her to come in. And they could, though, right?
She's got some guts, I will say that. And I also love the fact that the big dog went out and the big dog was doing things. But then the little dogs are like, we got this, we got this.
Isn't that always the way, though?
We got your back. Yeah, certainly.
I love it.
Oh,
I love it.
I'm glad we don't have to deal with bears here, mostly.
She is a boss.
Every now and then.
6.5 million likes already on TikTok. I like it.
Okay, let's all calm down now. Next at 5:30, what's new? Well, the second winner for Ohio's Vax-a-Million drawing is going to be announced tomorrow. Details on how many more people entered the drawing compared to last week.
Also, reopening Ohio, a look ahead to how businesses are preparing for health orders to be lifted tomorrow at midnight.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Let's get you caught up on 3 top stories here at 5:30. We now have more information on what allegedly happened last week at Canton McKinley that resulted in the coaching staff of the football team being placed on administrative leave. According to the family of one player, their 17-year-old son was forced to eat pork, which is against his religious beliefs. An attorney for the family says they are preparing to file suit against the school district, which they say has not been responsive. Previously, the Canton School District has told 3 News they are investigating an incident and will continue to keep an eye on this.
Number 2, Moderna is filing for full FDA approval for its COVID vaccine. It was granted emergency use authorization back in December for those 18 and older. However, 6 months of data is required for a biologics license, which is needed for full approval. The Massachusetts company plans to submit their findings in the coming weeks. Pfizer-BioNTech announced last month they, too, will be asking for full approval.
And tomorrow, the state will announce its second winner of the Vax-a-Million drawing. The lucky Ohioan will be $1 million. Healthier, wealthier, maybe not.
Both.
Or, yeah. Another will win a full-ride scholarship. That's the kids' version. Now, the stakes are higher this time around. 467,000 more adults entered the $1 million drawing, bringing the total to 3.2 million. So your odds right now are 1 in 3.2 million. The scholarship entries are also up 28,000 from the week before. You can watch the drawing right here on 3 News at 7:29 p.m. and on WKYC.com. And with that, we say thank you so much for staying with us and welcome back to What's New. We hope everybody had a great long weekend. I'm Betsy Kling alongside Jay Crawford.
Yeah, boy, it was a nice weekend. Yesterday, the choice weather day for sure. We're counting down the days to summer, even though really Memorial Day is sort of that unofficial kickoff.
Unofficial, yes.
The official is June 20th this year?
Yes.
Yes. And that is 19 days from now. So there you have it. We're counting them down. And you know, as much as I love the start of summer, Betsy, I always think, and this is a little depressing, and I don't know, I'm a glass is full kind of guy.
Right, very much.
But I always get depressed on that first day of summer because
we turn the tide.
We turn the tide and we start moving away from the equator, which means our days get shorter.
Yes.
So we're 19 days away from the longest day of the year.
Embrace.
I know. I hold tightly to each day because they go so fast.
And the forecast is going to match up pretty nicely.
It's going to feel like summer.
Matt's going to be along a couple minutes to fill us in on that.
All right, now to the story that everyone is talking about. That's because at midnight tonight, all of those COVID-19 health orders, they officially disappear here in Ohio. Ohioans will be allowed to live a pre-COVID lifestyle. Marissa Saenz reports tonight on how the new yet familiar way of living could directly impact Northeast Ohio.
Walking out of your house on Wednesday might feel like any average day. While the changes might not be clear at first, you could slowly see them as the day goes on.
It's very gratifying to finally be coming out of it.
Coming out of a year full of uncharted territory, desolate, full of continuously changing restrictions, and to go only. The change is coming, announced 2.5 weeks ago.
It is time. It's time to end the health orders.
A pre-pandemic life coming back.
We're happy now to be able to also, work by the guidelines that are set out for us.
Michael Bolin is the manager of Mabel's Barbecue downtown. When the pandemic swept across Northeast Ohio, he held on to business best he could.
It's pretty crazy to think back on a year ago and, think about prior sales numbers.
Sales that sunk for businesses in every industry.
We saw a lot of businesses that were restaurants, that were local stores that really saw a fall in revenue.
Social distancing guidelines and capacity restrictions won't apply starting Wednesday, meaning businesses can pick up the pace.
Do you think that on the tail end of the pandemic, business will come back as quickly as it stopped?
There's a chance that we could rebound in a significant way, but I don't think it's necessarily going to be a straight reversal.
Bolin doesn't expect a quick business rebound either.
I think over the course of the summer, we'll see it just continually increase.
From a federal level to the state level, COVID-19 health orders came 1 year after the pandemic crippled the country. Today, 45% of Ohioans have received at least 1 dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. While that helps slow the spread of the virus, doctors say the pandemic won't just disappear.
Pandemics don't end in a bang, but in a whimper.
Yeah, that's so true. Betsy, this means that the mask order will be lifted as well, of course. Bolin said he won't require his staff or customers to wear one inside. But remember, businesses still reserve the right to require masks inside if they choose to. Most businesses that will require it will have it clearly posted outside as you come in, so you'll know. But the businesses do, of course, have that right. One quick point. Months ago, when our cases really started trending downward, the governor said when we get to 50 cases per 100,000 statewide, all of these restrictions will be lifted. We really started moving hard towards that number the last couple of months. He then said, I'm going to lift everything June 2nd. Forget about the 50 cases per 100,000.
Right.
I still crunch the numbers every day because I'm a geek and I like to do that. We are right now right around 50 cases per 100,000.
That's great news, though.
It is wonderful news because that was his initial goal to get to that.
Right.
And it looks like we're there.
I think it's important to note, too, that the pandemic is not gone. There will still be people who want to wear a mask. I will tell you, I go into a store and I'm surveying. If they don't have a mask mandate, there's still a lot of people around. Chances are I'm going to put a mask on anyway.
Yeah, it's individual choice.
It's just a comfort level thing. I'm not ready to go all in. There were 622 cases reported in the last 24 hours, 92 hospitalizations and 14 ICU admissions.
I will say
we are not done yet.
That 622 number is a little deceiving because we didn't have a report for Monday.
Right.
So if you average that out, is about 311 cases over the last 2 days, which is what our average has been for the last 4 days. 300 cases for the last 4 days. That's astonishing. Remember, our high was 10,000 new cases a day. So we've come a long, long way. Coming up and clicking in Cleveland, claims of billions of dollars in saving bonds not being redeemed. You have to stick around to find out how you might be included in these claims.
Plus, hiring history in Canton. Dave Chudowski sits down with the city's first African-American fire chief about his new role and what it means to him. And, of course, we're going to be taking a look at the forecast because we, Matt, are really thinking that Friday's weather was not acceptable.
Yeah, not acceptable at all. I already put in several letters to Mother Nature.
Thank you.
She should get them on the 3-day shipping by next week. We'll see. The clouds are really thickening up, and that's going to spell some rain tomorrow. We'll take you through that and a hot weekend ahead. Boy, it's going to get summer-like around here. All that coming up when we come back.
About people's money today, and there are billions of dollars in unclaimed U.S. savings bond, and yes, it is legit.
Oh, we're just talking about how far we've come in a year.
Boy.
Getting everybody back in the studio. It's so nice. It's so refreshing, certainly. We had some nice refreshing weather over the weekend. We got our little share of some rain. Things are greening up out there. Allergies are going crazy right now.
Oh.
Now we just need it to feel like summer, Matt.
Yeah, let's bring out the good news, shall we?
Okay.
You're right about the pollen, though. Man, I've been just
brutal.
stuffed up. Heading into June, it's just awful. It's oak trees. It's just everything. Everything's just putting out pollen. But you know what? The rain helps, and it helps to limit that pollen, and that's exactly what we're going to get, just what the doctor ordered over the next couple days. Temperatures, though, pretty nice, right? Most people like 70s, I think. I'll always get that one email that says, 70s aren't my temperature. You see, right now we're generally in the low to mid 70s outside. Feels good though, right? Because we've got the dry air. Dew point still in the 40s. This will change, so that muggy feeling is going to start to return over the next couple days as we bring in more moisture. Clouds, yep, we've got them. They get thicker as you get down towards the south and the west. That's out ahead of our low pressure system. This thing's taking its time too. Dove down towards the Four Corners region. Texas had all sorts of flooding from this, and now it's heading our way with a pretty decent slug of moisture. You can see the little streamlines on there. Lots of Gulf of Mexico moisture meeting up with this area low pressure. And again, that moves in tomorrow. Rainfall deficit. Don't worry about any other number but the one at the bottom. 5 inches below average in Cleveland, almost 4 in Akron, almost 3 in Mansfield. So we could use the rain. We know that. So I put this graphic together. I hope it works. You see the rain that we're expecting over the next 5 days. Pretty decent shot at an inch or more across much of the viewing area. So what about each day? Tomorrow we've got pretty widespread rain around here. It'll be scattered around here on Thursday, isolated Friday. Then we dry things out for the weekend, and that's when that heat returns as well. So let's time it out hour by hour with your National Zymark forecast. Clouds increase tonight. We're dry this evening, though. You got evening plans, you're okay. It's tomorrow morning that some of these showers will start to move in from southwest. Not a washout tomorrow, but there's also not a dry period of time that we can put on the map and say, hey, get outside at noon. Not going to be the case. These showers are going to be scattered around most of the day. Not expecting any rumbles of thunder tomorrow, at least early in the day. We start to bring in more instability later in the day as that humidity increases and that low approaches. But yeah, on and off rain throughout the daytime. Some downpours as well. Thursday, things start to change. We start on the warmer side, generally in the 60s to start. We'll head up into the 70s for highs, but we have a little bit more instability. So we do have some shower and thunderstorm chances on Thursday versus tomorrow. Big pattern though. Jet stream, the driver of that. Look at the warm air bubble that develops this weekend. This warm air bubble expands. It becomes a hot air bubble. In fact, much of the eastern half of the country going to be one of the hottest spots on the map as we get towards the weekend. Union Home Mortgage forecast here. Look at how we start to dry things out, and those temperatures go way up into the 90s. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, before that ridge starts to break down. It's going to get hot, and that comes with some humidity as well, Jay. So, Jay, are you paying attention? Are you taking notes?
I was taking notes, actually.
Okay,
I was taking notes.
You're always so great. We'll send it back to you. I know you're ready.
Matt, you have no bigger fan than me.
That's so sweet. I don't believe you, but that's sweet.
No, it's true, honestly. All right, it's time now to see what's clicking in Cleveland. For that, we bring in our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Stephanie, this is a historic toss because you're finally back in the studio and it feels like old times again.
It does. It's been 14 long months. I actually have shoes on for the first time in 14 months. I'm here. I'm ready to go and tell you what's clicking in Cleveland. The first thing we're going to talk to you about is your money, because people have been asking about notices about billions in unclaimed U.S. savings bonds, and our verified team checked it out. Yes, it's a thing. One of former President Donald Trump's final executive orders was aimed at getting this money to its rightful owners. Now, the website to check if you're owed money is treasurydirect.com. It does look a little suspicious and it does ask for your personal information, but it checks out. So go ahead and see if you're one of the 75 million people who are owed about $28 billion in unclaimed savings bonds. Now today kicks off Pride Month. Since 1999, the nation shines a spotlight on our LGBTQ plus community every single June. And this year, WKYC is partnering with the LGBT Community Center of Greater Cleveland for a couple of events. First, we'll have a special show on Friday at 7:30 p.m. highlighting our LGBTQ plus community. And WKYC will take part in the Pride Ride on Saturday, where people will dress up and decorate their bikes, cars, and vans to ride from Edgewater Park through Detroit Shoreway starting at 10 a.m. And season tickets for the Horseshoe are now on sale as of today. Ohio State University's Director of Athletics announced today they hope to have the stadium at full capacity. Yes, full capacity for football games in 2021. We have all the dates laid out on WKYC.com for when people who rolled over tickets from 2020 can get access to get back in there. OSU will be working with health officials on safety precautions. And this does not come as a surprise. We're seeing this a lot now. OSU will use mobile-only ticketing for all events from here on out. Jay and Betsy, you know, it makes sense. It's convenient, but I, for one, I'll personally miss the nostalgia of real tickets to hang on to.
Yeah, for souvenirs. And I'll tell you this, too. It makes transferring tickets especially difficult. Whether you're selling, buying, or you want to give them to a friend. But, you know, I understand technology. It's the way of the future.
I like it for people who still have flip phones. I know several.
That's a good point.
What makes it very difficult.
I guess they can't go to games anymore.
Right? Stick with me, kid. I'll get you in the door.
That's great.
All right, Stephanie. Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow. Next on What's New, an in-depth conversation with Canton's new fire chief, making history. How his inspiration and drive before this role is helping him plan to revive the city.
I'm anxious to see that story. He has one of those contagious smiles.
Yeah.
You want to smile along with him. And one bride-to-be is thanking a postal worker who saved her big day. This is an incredible story. What an act of kindness. He literally saved the wedding. We'll tell you the whole story when we come back. It's coming up and Show Us Something Good.
It's about putting in that work, because at the end of the day, nobody really cares what color you are. They care about if you can get the job done. So I don't focus in on that, but the historical context is not lost on me.
On April 26th, the Canton Fire Department made history by swearing in their first African-American fire chief in the department's 199-year history.
That alone is certainly groundbreaking, but our latest game changer is about to make an even greater impression on Canton. He's putting his name on it.
Here's Dave Chudowski with his story.
So my first name is Kwam Shalau, middle name is Akbar, last name is Bennett. First name is African, middle name is Arabic, last name is Irish. I got it all covered. I'm the American dream, buddy.
And now he's living out his dream with another name attached, Chief.
Congratulations, Chief Bennett. My goal was never to be the first African-American chief. My goal was to always never be the last. What I mean by that is to get in there, do an amazing job, and to do it on such a level that people don't even think about my color anymore, and it's a backstory.
Have you had to deal with racism in getting to where you're at?
Yes. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, absolutely. Part of it is my personality too, to be honest with you, because I'm very confident in who I am. To me, racism is ignorance. It's lack of knowledge of another culture, of who somebody is. What makes you a bad person is what you do with that racism. Because I've dealt with people who have been racist and ended up being some of my best friends in the world.
Bennett, who turns 51 next month, is the youngest of 12 siblings.
Who's the biggest influence in your life?
Definitely my mother. Miss her every day.
It's the day in 2015 he'll never forget. His mother passing away after a heart attack at the age of 64. Akbar was there. He was on the job when he got the call.
Yeah, I did CPR on my mom from the time at the nursing home to the hospital. And it was tough because I wasn't a son at that point. I was still the division chief, and I still had a job to do. She was the reason I was on the job in the first place. And so for me to be able to spend the last moments with her doing what she allowed me to do, I tell people I felt her spirit leaving her and then entering me to continue to create the strength that I have.
His mother's memory is now his inspiration. Bennett has big plans ahead to save lives. It's called Operation Heartbeat.
I would love to teach every male and female between the ages of 16 and up proper CPR. Everybody. In the city limits. Everyone. So that when people come into the city of Canton, it's the safest city in the country.
Is this breaking news right here on Game Changers?
I haven't put it out yet.
I am going to put it out. Can I put it out on Game Changers?
You can put it out.
I'm putting it out.
But that's a goal of mine. I've been working on that for years.
And when he's finished this dream, his next one is to write a couple books, including one titled From Cheeseburgers to Chief.
When I first started off, I worked at Wendy's, flipping burgers. Yeah. Right up the street, literally, right up the street. And I used to walk to work every day, and people would be making fun of me. For me, I'm thankful for all my experiences. But I had a mother that instilled that in me, didn't want to let my mom down, so it didn't matter, any kind of criticism that came my way, I'm gonna do it.
So it's kind of like from where's the beef to the chief.
Ah, I like that. I'm gonna have to use that one.
Huh?
I'll give you a couple points on that.
And on that note, Chief, I just want to thank you for being a game changer.
Thank you very much.
Well, he has many other plans for the city. Defibrillators in every Canton business, a mascot going into schools to teach, and he wants to take the fire department to inner city locations. That's another goal, to see the first female officer in Canton as well. There's a lot on his list, but I think he's pretty driven.
Shoot for the moon. You know, I love the idea that it's a goal of his to teach everybody in the city of Canton how to do CPR over 16. You're talking about a lot of lives being saved if everybody in the city knows how to do it.
And you think about the influence that he is putting out there for the younger generations, the kids. Officer Lamar Sharp is down there in Canton too. He's a Channel 3 favorite and his Be a Better Me Foundation. He's an inspiration. So now he's got a pal, and police and firefighters, when you're a kid, they're your heroes. You look up to them. And now we've got these two men who are just such great role models for those kids.
Congratulations to you, Chief. I know you're going to do just fine. Next on What's New, Saved by the Mailman. It's an incredible story of generosity and how this postal worker saved one bride's wedding. It's a great story.
Wasilla is a lovely place. Then on What Matters Most at 6, Akron construction impacting thousands. New information on what's being called one of the city's largest construction projects in history, and when the Beltway reconstruction project is set to be finished. This is a good talker. And every 2 hours is a completely different climate. That's what I want now.
Watch.
Okay.
Danny, hold on.
Okay. Hi. Yes. Test 1, 2. We are here in downtown Cleveland on East 9th and Rockwell, where we thought there would be more cars.
Check 1 2 1 2. Check 2 1 2 3.
All right, we wrap up our Tuesday What's New with Show Us Something Good. An Alaskan bride says she's thankful for a U.S. postal worker who went way above and beyond to save her big day. Listen to what happened. Crystal Lewis and her fiance mailed out their wedding invitations. They did it last month. They thought it was odd because they weren't getting any RSVPs. What's going on here? Well, turns out their invites were never sent because they didn't have enough postage. When a postal worker noticed this pile of envelopes just sitting there, he decided to buy the extra postage himself and work with his coworkers to mail the invitations, make sure they got out that night.
I couldn't help but choke up because it was so unexpected. I wasn't expecting that at all. It was really nice.
And that's just what we do, not just because we're supposed to do it, but just, I mean, this is the Valley, this is Wasilla. It's just, we take care of each other out here.
Well, the couple tried to repay him for the extra postage, but he absolutely refused, saying he was just happy to help. My mantra, try to do something nice for someone else every day, and that would be a week's worth of something nice.
That's huge. Save the wedding. Quite true.
I love it. We're out of time. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow at 5. I'll see you again at 7 for Front Row.
What Matters Most with Russ and Laura starts right now.
Preparing to sue.
You just don't do things like this. How can you have such a mental lapse?
More on the allegations from a Canton McKinley football player who says his coaches forced him to eat food against his religious beliefs. Just hours away. At midnight, Ohio health orders surrounding COVID-19